Thank you to Diana and LULAC for not only putting this together, but for reaching out to the library to be a partner in hosting this. So why don't we give it up to LULAC. This is a community safety program. Community safety is incredibly important. When some people, when many people think of community safety, they think of very few things like that. Many of us think of community safety much more broadly. And community safety takes the entire community to be involved to make it safe, not just for some, but for all of the members of our community. The library is an integral piece of community safety because real safety in a community is made by opportunities, resources, education, and connections, social connections. We're doing a lot of those tonight. So thank you for even making the community a little bit more safe tonight. And thank you to LULAC for bringing your resources to foster further safety in this community. The library is, the last thing I'll just say again, the library is a resource for all of you. And we are very grateful to get to host this tonight. And we certainly hope that it's not the last to be hosted here. Know that when something important is happening in the world, is happening in this community, this is your home where you can talk about it and where you can make a plan and a strategy to make sure we are prepared for whatever we have to be prepared for, to make sure all of us are safe. Thank you again all so much for being here. Now I'm going to welcome my pretty new friend, Alicia. I met her in this room like last week.
All right. Thank you. Let's give him a round of applause. He did such a great presentation of everything. I really like that. Clarity. It's really nice. My name is Alicia. So for those that speak Spanish, it's Alicia. And those that speak English, it's Alicia. So when they ask me for what's my name, I say Alicia, make it easier for you. We live in America, I have to say it like it should sound in America, Alicia. So anyway, my name is Alicia Villa, and I am a realtor in Racine. I've been a real estate agent since 1990. I first of all want to say thank you to Diana for having invited me to this nice group. And I think that what she's doing, what LULAC is doing is awesome for our community. I really, really do think they deserve a lot of credit because they work so hard. Look at, you got tamales. Wow. Who gives you food like that, huh? So I really want to thank them because they deserve a lot of credit. And let's give them a round of applause because they really do a good job. To LULAC and everyone here. So I do real estate, and I've been a loan officer in the past and in the present. I currently am just doing real estate. I'm also a lender. I'm also an investor. I have properties for rent. A lot of them, a lot of units. So I have a lot of experience in the real estate field, the lending field, and the property management field. I also speak Spanish. I'm bilingual. I was an immigrant. At one point in my life, I was an immigrant. Proudly to say that thanks to America that gave me this opportunity, I succeeded in my life. And I really do wish that a lot of good immigrants that are visiting the United States do the same, because they can too demonstrate up here, okay? They come in with the hopes of dreaming, having a good life and whatnot, and we can only help those that want to help themselves. And so I am here basically to introduce myself as a realtor and to offer my experience, if you will, of everything that I know in my little machine up here. Because I have so much information in my machine that I can certainly give you whatever answers you want in the questions that you come and ask me. I will be sitting out here. I will have my business cards, some of my flyers that have some of my listings. I just listed a business out on Washington Avenue, and I have a home that's a duplex as well. And I like to give you guys some information on them. But mainly I'm here to help you with any questions you may have and needs you may have in our community that I can assist you with and that can give you a little bit more clarity in the real estate market and the rental market in the future that you may need. Anything else, Diane?
I think that's good, but you can go to her table right now and ask her questions. Actually, not right now, because I'm going to introduce you to Racine Interfaith Coalition. We have a table over here with a couple people that do some marvelous work. Because we're here, yes, we are the Wisconsin League of United Latin American Citizens, but we do our work in collaboration with so many people in every community. So Racine Interfaith Coalition, I'm going to let Rich, and,
Yep. I'll go up here and then people.
okay, the people can come, okay. Go ahead, Rich.
I think it's always good when you get applause before you said anything. We'll see what happens when we get in here. No, I'm with the Racine Interfaith Coalition, and for those of you that don't know about the Racine Interfaith Coalition, we're a group of 20-some churches in the Racine area, and we work on a lot of social justice issues, and one of those is immigration. And so we've been going out over the last couple of weeks when we've been asked, and giving out information as far as for people that have undocumented people in their neighbors or in their families, and so that they know what to do should they be approached by ICE. We brought some of our material with you, and it's on that back table there. It kind of comes in a package, so some of you have already picked it up and you know this already. I kind of packaged it up for you. But you probably don't want to just take one or two sheets. It kind of comes all together. And so when we're finished with the presentation here tonight, if you want to pick up, stop at the table there, and we'll get some of that stuff out for you. We also have a sheet in there that gives our phone number, and we also have you'll see Maria Morales' phone number on there. If you want us to come and do a presentation at what it might be, we've done them at churches and in a number of other places. So if you want a presentation, there's a phone number on there, and call that phone number, and we will get people out. We'll probably share a lot of the same stuff that you're going to hear here this evening. So thank you.
We've been hearing so many things about Racine Unified. I'm going to have Grace Allen do a little sharing.
Thank you, Deanna. My name is Grace Allen. For those of you I'm just meeting for the first time, I am on the school board, and I'm also I serve for the Latino Caucus for Wisconsin. So I know that our families are very concerned about what is possibly happening, but I can tell you that at a state level, our schools are all under one accord where we are offering safety to our children. So we can assure our children that when they do go to school, they do not have the threat of being taken out of school, abruptly and not knowing what's going on with those officials. So if you have any questions, we do have things on our website, Racine Unified, and then there is also information on the state website and our DPI. So if you have any questions regarding what's going on in your schools, please do not hesitate to use those resources, going online and then calling down to the district office is also helpful. I'm always available if someone wants to inbox me on Facebook, Grace Allen in the D4, or just my Grace Allen page, or you can also just look me up on Racine Unified and get my email address, and I'll respond to you right away. Okay, thank you.
Now we have Tanya, Comité Sin Frontera. Voces, okay, so Voces de la Frontera. And it's a subcommittee.
Yes. Hi everybody, my name is Tanya Chavez. I'm the Racine organizer for Voces de la Frontera. I'm a DACA recipient as well. I was one of the last students to get my DACA, which was very scary. But now I'm here organizing for my community and everybody else. So I want to invite you guys to a meeting we're having this Saturday at the Labor Center. We want to invite you all. I don't know if you guys are aware what Dia Sin Latinos is. Day Without Latinos. It's usually a big event, May 1st in Milwaukee. But we also, at this meeting, we want to talk about if we want to have something more due to the situation that we're in. A lot of people want to get into action right now. So we want to hear what you guys have in mind as a community. So on Saturday, we'll be hearing out the community, see what you guys want to see from us, and we think it's important. So at the Labor Center this Saturday, 11 in the morning, we will have some breakfast provided. So yeah, anyone is welcome to come. I'll leave flyers right there. If you have any questions, you can just come and find me. I'll be around in the corner. But thank you.
And let me see, we have the LGBT community, and it's Barbara.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Hi, good evening. Just wanted to say hello. My name is Barb. I'm with the LGBT Center of Southeast Wisconsin. We're located in Uptown on Junction Avenue. And as part of the community, we realize that the LGBTQ community and people with disabilities are two of the main groups that have people in every demographic, every race, every age, every socioeconomic class. And so what that means for us is that we unify to support everybody in every community. And it's really important that you know that we have Spanish speakers at our center, and that we have programming that will fit any person's gender identity, sexual orientation. And there's information about our support groups over there. If you'd like to share it with someone. I'd also like to just note that I know you all know how important asylum and the rights of asylum seekers are. And for people in the LGBTQ community, people who identify as trans, gender nonconforming, are real at risk. We see at least 2 or 3 people a year from Mexico who are transitioning, and know that if they have to go home, probably wouldn't be a good place for them. So as a center, we can help advocate, connect you to resources, lawyers, other organizations on a national and state level that can help you or the people that you know get through this rough time. So thank you so much for your time and all your great work. Yes?
I'm wondering, are there ways that people can get involved with the center, especially now
Yeah.
with everything happening?
Yeah, absolutely. On our website, it's LGBTSE for Southeast, WI. We have a sign up, and there's a place called RAISE, which is our advocacy group. We've been a little bit silent because we don't really know, and there's a lot of stuff out there. So we don't really know what's going to happen and when we're going to need people. But like yourself, if you'd like to be on our advocacy list, because we know we're going to need you soon, we just don't know when and where and how. So be on the ready and let us know how we can support your organizations as well.
Do we have any city aldermen at this time here, or county? I know they have another meeting, so I just wanted to make sure that I didn't miss anybody. But I'd like to take a few minutes just to say I am the Deputy State Director for the League of United Latin American Citizens. That means that I'm like the Vice Chair. And I happen to be from Racine, so my hometown. And let's see, we have here present, we have Maria Morales. If she could stand and come forward. I'm going to introduce to you our state representatives. Maria Morales is the Director of Elderly, Joe Charo. You might have stepped out for a moment. Oh, here he comes. Celia, she's there videotaping. And let me see, I think I can introduce now our director. We have the computer set up over here. Ready? Yeah? This is our director, Jaime Alvarado.
All right, thank you everyone for coming. We're going to, just to let you know, we're going to talk a little bit about our website, the resources we have, including the Know Your Rights card. LULAC has designed a kit, a rights kit, which is called an Escudo. And we're going to go over a family preparation plan. So before all that, we have a couple of great guests. We have the mayor and the chief of police here, and they're going to talk a little bit about public safety, about the priorities of the city, and we're going to have a question and answer, a short one after that, and we're going to have a question and answer at the end of our presentation as well. So, okay, so I'm gonna, the mayor's gonna be first. I just want to let you know that he is very, we had a meeting with him, and he's in agreement with a lot of things that we have. We have, as far as the city stands on working with federal immigration, also on helping with the municipal ID, because when an undocumented person or anybody gets stopped and they don't have an ID, many times, if there's an investigation, many times they have to be taken to the police station to be fingerprinted. So the best thing to do is have a municipal ID, especially if you can't get a state ID. That would help a lot. So he's in agreement with that, and I'm sure the police chief is going to talk a little bit about that, the importance of being identified. Also, as a caveat, the police should never ask you for an ID unless there's a reason. So they can't just come up to you out of the blue and say, hey, what's your name? You have a right not to say your name, and maybe you can talk about that.
Yes.
But, all right, unless there's an investigation and whatever. So, what I'll do is, we'll go ahead and introduce the mayor, Corey Mason.
Thanks very much. Thank you everyone for coming out tonight. Thank you for LULAC for hosting this, and for the Racine Interfaith Coalition, and for VOSES for helping to put this together. Glad to be here at the Racine Public Library. I want to thank Nick and his staff for hosting this. You know, when I think of what a library can do in terms of providing information to residents, giving them good information about resources, about the rights, about other resources that they may need to be made aware of, it's really important. It's an important time, certainly in the last month or so. We've had lots of people asking questions about what are our rights, where do we go to find this information. So really can't think of a better setting to do that in the library than to give people good public information on knowing their rights and what are available to them. And again, just to have VOSES and Racine Interfaith Coalition and LULAC all coming together to present to the public some good information that can hopefully be helpful. Really to work together with the community for their own mutual aid and benefit is a big part of what this community is about, and what the city tries to do, and certainly what my administration tries to do. A lot of the questions that we've had in this area, though, are sometimes revolve around what is the law enforcement approach in some of these spaces and some of these other things. I'm very lucky and fortunate to have the chief of police here with us tonight. So I'm guessing if there are comments, I'd certainly ask him to make, but I'm guessing if there's specific questions, he's probably the best qualified person in the room to answer some of those. So without any further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Chief Ramirez. Chief.
Good evening. I'm going to make myself at home for a moment here, take off my jacket. All right. Nick, thank you for hosting. LULAC, thank you for inviting me. Buses, I know you're here, right there, I know you're here too. My name is Alex Ramirez, I am the Chief of Police here for the City of Racine. I've been here now with the City Police Department for 3.5 years, I can't believe it. Can't tell by the loss of my hair. Obviously, that we've had some changes here in our police department, just a couple of things in our staff. We're increasing our staffing. So we're getting up to some of the near the authorized number that we're allowed, which is 196 officers. We have about 42 civilian staff that help us operate 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. We're one of a few entities in the city that works 24 hours, us in the fire department is the other one. But we're here, I'm here. My number one priority is public safety. I gotta make sure that everyone is safe, the city is safe, and we do a lot of things to keep the city safe. It's mostly the violence that does occur in our city. I can proudly say the last 2 years, our crime has gone down 30% from 23 to 22, that's the year, and then another 13% from 24 to 23. And that's all. I say that because I have to keep an eye on that. When your crime rate's going down, that brings more people in the city. Businesses want to go open up. People want to go downtown. They want to go to our schools. There's a perception that there's a lot of fear. There's also another perception. There's a lot of fear that with the immigration issue that's going across this country. And let me just say with honesty here that the Racine Police Department does not get involved in any immigration issue whatsoever. Now with that being said though, I also expect no one to commit any crimes, especially violent crime. Violent crime is something that is affect everyone. I also want to, what's going on nationwide is the immigration's only affecting the people who are wanted or have committed crimes in the United States. Every president has done this for how many years? For many, many years. This president gets a lot of publicity because it's just the way he is, the way he carries himself. And I get that. But let me reassure you that the Racine Police Department does not get involved in any immigration issues. We're not going to take people out of their houses, drag them out of the restaurants, drag them out of rooftops, drag them away from their families, stop them for what they look like. First of all, that's against the law. We can't. You have every right as a citizen. We're not going to ask you, well, where are you from? We just don't ask that question. We don't. I certainly have never done that. And I will never do that. We're here to protect every individual within the law. That means that I expect people to follow the law. We don't want anybody being a victim of a crime. I want every person to be part of the community, get involved in the community, no matter what your immigration status is. But just to reassure you that we do not get involved in any immigration issue whatsoever. Never have. It's in our policy, and our policy is pretty strong on that. So, have I been asked by federal government? Not one bit. We have officers that work on federal task forces. They have not been asked to be on any kind of federal task force to do immigration sweeps. Now, if you have committed a crime, and a violent crime, and you happen to be, whether you're documented or not, you're gonna go to jail. That's just the way it goes. If you commit a crime, you're gonna go to jail. It doesn't matter what your status is. But we will never ask where you're from. But just reassure that there's a lot of fear that's being put out there that we're doing all kinds of sweeps. Racine has yet to have one sweep here. Never happened. There was one here over at the bus stop that's in it. Never happened. False narrative out there. Let me just reassure you that. If you guys were to have any questions regarding it, by all means ask me. I can tell you, if we don't, local police is not involved with immigration. And I can say that over and over and over. Some people are still gonna think that, yes, you're out here doing sweeps. We don't do that. Now again, I want you to be part of the community. We have 6 wonderful COP houses strategically placed throughout the city of Racine. We want the neighborhoods to get involved. We are opening one up in March downtown. I'm not sure if you've heard about that or not, but we have a COP office that's gonna be open downtown. It's gonna be COP-like. But the businesses have been demanding something like that, but we also have some great donors in this city that care about this community. And I'm glad to be a part of that. I'm glad to be a part of helping opening that up. I think it's gonna be great for downtown, great for the businesses. And just to make people feel safe, that no matter where they're at in Racine, you're gonna feel safe. I want everyone to call the police if they're a victim of crime. Never be afraid of the police. Please, never be afraid of the police. We're here to help.
I have a question.
We have a question from Megan.
So if I understand. So if I am, if I witness something
Or I'm undocumented and I witness a crime, or somebody beat me up, I, as an American citizen, get nervous to call the police because I have to think, do I got tickets, parking tickets? Do I got traffic tickets? Does that really happen? You know, if a person is undocumented or if somebody has some type of ticket, do we get arrested or do you follow through with the crime that you witness?
Well, it's a loaded question.
Yes, it
Let me
is.
just start. If you happen to be a victim of a crime and you're undocumented, and you participate in the investigation, all the way through the courts, we can help you out, but there's a process, and I don't know if you've heard of them or not, a U visa. They go through my office, but the Department of Homeland Security has the final say-so on the U visas. I look at it, and if the victim, if you're a victim, first of all, I do want you to report it. If you're a victim of a crime, we want you to report it, and we can help you out in the process. There's a number of law firms or Catholic charities that help people get those U visas. I sign a lot of these. I see somebody waving back there.
we do them too. So Stephanie, can you stand up and say who's leading? Can you stand up?
Maybe after he finishes
No, wait,
his
go
comments,
ahead.
the Racine Interfaith Coalition.
Okay, good.
Right there, right there. And I've had meetings with you guys.
I know.
But if you get stopped for speeding and it's your first offense and you don't have your license with you, they're gonna give you a ticket for not having a license. Now, where the problem may come up later on is that if you get stopped for speeding the second, third, fourth, fifth time and you've paid those tickets, they may suspend your privilege to drive, but they're gonna be another ticket. One of the challenges that happens is that, first of all, drive the speed limit.
Don't create a crime.
If you got a parking ticket, pay your parking ticket. Abide by the parking rules. That complaints every day. Street storage. You guys ever heard of street storage?
Yes.
Alternate side parking?
Yes.
Another big complaint I get there. These cars have never moved in 48 hours. I say, okay. So we'll send our community service officers over there, check it out. And if they happen not to be in the right section, we issue them a ticket. We pay those tickets, they're paid. Those are civil forfeitures. I have another question. Yes.
So,
I gotta get my steps in.
thank you. So I feel like there's a whole lot that I can unpack there with everything that you said. Thank you so much for all that information. But I guess, one thing that I have at the top of my head is there's, like you said, there's always been fear with, regardless of what administration has been in the office, right? But I think right now, with more of a reason, with everything that's been being said and done all around the country. So, like you said, the police here should not or do not care about, I guess, immigration, the status of a person, but there's a lot of fear right now with parents who have to take their kids to school, parents who have to go to work who do not have a driver's license. What happens when a police officer pulls them over and says, I need a driver's license, I need an ID? People do not have anything legal to give the police officer, so what happens in that situation?
Give me your name, your address, and date of birth, and that's information that's taken down, And if the officer decides to give you a ticket, they'll give you a ticket. If not, they'll give you a warning, and you'll be on your way.
And so they have no right then, like you said, because I think sometimes it also depends on the police officer, maybe that's, stopping you.
I haven't heard of one complaint yet come to my office in the 3.5 years I have been for that type of situation. Not one.
I'm glad to hear that, and I hope it continues that way.
Right.
And then,
I agree.
and then the other question that I have is, as far as I'm aware, the police here do not comply with 287G, right?
It's 287G.
It's a, no,
It's when you work with the immigration office, so you would be working with ICE
No,
in
we don't.
partnership, and it's an agreement with sheriff. Yeah.
We don't, now, let me just say, if you do happen to get arrested for a crime, whether it's a violent misdemeanor or a violent felony, the sheriff are the ones that do house our prisoners, or we arrest them, we process them, and then they go to the sheriff's office. And then whatever the sheriff does, that's up to them. They're the ones that, they control their own, the jails, the courts, but they may ask, and they probably most likely do, what happens after they release someone, whether it's on bail or personal recognizance, it's up to them. We as the police department don't get involved in any of that process. Like I said, we want people to report crime. We want people to be witnesses of crime. If you're a witness to a crime, you just take your name, number, what did you see? You participate in the prosecution. You can also be, we'll have to go through the U visa, it might be able to be, because you were a good witness to a crime that you observed. We want you to go to the community meetings. We want you to be part of the community. We as a police department, yes, there's fear in law enforcement, and a lot of that does happen from whatever country they may come, because in other countries, law enforcement can be the rule of the law over there. They create fear too. If I go to, say I'm traveling somewhere in a different country like Mexico, there's a thing called La Mordida.
yeah.
And you've gotta pay the $50 to get out of the ticket. But we don't do that here. We don't do that. Our officers get paid well, competitive rates to any other officers here. Other local jurisdictions have very similar policies that we do. Whether it's in Mount Pleasant, whether it's in Caledonia. I know there's been a push to have the governor sign some sort of law where local law enforcement gets in to help out federal task forces or federal partners when it comes to immigration. And he's already come on and said, we're not gonna sign anything like that. Because local jurisdictions are different from the sheriffs and they're different from federal agencies. We're just different. Because we want people to be involved with the police department, develop a relationship, because it's more than the police. It takes everyone to keep everybody safe. And we want people to be safe.
Exactly, yes.
You know?
Any more questions? Chief, we also have the mayor here, so.
Oh, you can always ask the mayor because
We're gonna ask him.
this gentleman has that question.
So I know that some of the people that in the community have been concerned at some of the meetings because they work and they travel as the mother had said, for different reasons, whether to take their children to school or something, but some of them work out of state, so they work in Illinois. And they're afraid that once they get over there into Illinois, if they get pulled over or stopped, you have there's the jurisdiction, as you just mentioned, is different. And so it's possible that, they could be pulled over and then ask for some identification or something for whatever reason. Maybe their lights were out or they roll through a stop sign or something. And then what would you recommend then if they're that they would be able to do if they were, to help protect them when they travel to another state, like when they go to Illinois?
One of my advice is don't run away. Do not go on some sort of high-speed police chase, because it's only gonna make matters worse. Cooperate, pull over, stop, be honest with them. They'll ask you usually for your name, address, your date of birth, and they'll give you the reason why you were stopped. If it's speeding, they will give you a speeding ticket. If it's, or a possible warning. But those things happen. I mean, I know there's been some legislation trying here to get people some driver's license. People need driver's license. I believe in that.
Right.
A driver's license reduces the fear of getting, oh, here, I got the police behind me now. I mean, that's something that, I think California passed that. I'd like to see that passed here, but, because it gives people that identification, that reduces the fear. Understand there are many people that don't have a license, even though they're here, but getting a license, I think is important. Having that driver's license gets you to and from the job. You can go to and from the job without fear, take the kids to school, go grocery shopping without fear. And I know there are folks like LULAC, bosses that are really trying to fight for that. And, we need a driver's license. That's how people get around. But when it comes, it's up to each jurisdiction. I can't answer for other jurisdictions, but I know if it happens here in Racine. I speak about this often, about driver's license, the importance of a driver's license. And that goes for anybody that's 16 years old, whether you're undocumented or not. But it's an important piece of credential to have. There's a question by Ms. Young.
I can say it out loud if everybody can hear me. And I don't know if this is for you or the mayor, but does ICE have to let you know or of any investigations or anything being conducted here in Racine?
ICE is not obligated, and no federal agency is obligated to tell me that they're in here in the city of Racine. They're not obligated. There is a courtesy out there, professional courtesy, but they're not obligated to let me know. I think I got a pretty good relationship with some of our local partners here, including the sheriffs. And so far, they haven't received any information that they're doing any kind of sweeps here. And there's a gentleman back there.
I'm going to say, we understand this, that fear is a part of the chaos. And if the ICE doesn't have to let you know that you're in the city, and you find out that they're in the city, what's your process?
My first question is, why would they be in the city? I have every right to ask them that, and they can tell me what they're going to do. Now, I can't interfere in certain things. I would think that they would give me at least the courtesy to say, hey, we're going to be doing this. And I'll ask, what is it type of thing, Well, I'm going after a violent person, well, that's a different story. But and I'd be more than happy to say, we don't do immigration sweeps, we're not going to participate, and I'm not obligated to participate in those. Just simple immigration. It is illegal by what a person looks like to stop and talk to them and ask them, hey, do you have your papers? Hey, do you have your documents? It's illegal. That's called racial profiling. We cannot do that. We cannot do that. Now, if someone's associated with a violent person, we can ask them, who are you with? Say you got that person and his buddies with them, who you're with, but we're not going to ask them where you're from. We're going to ask them, what is your name? What, you know this person here? Things like that. But there's no obligation by me, unless there's some law that's going to be passed, and there's no law at this point that's going to say we're obligated to work with them. That's a fact.
Wondering, the intel process, you have your intel process, they have their intel process. Those don't meet anywhere. Those two intels don't meet.
Well, it depends. Until you're trying to get at somebody. If it's someone who's a criminal, obviously we want to know that, or they have criminality.
Just something is beginning as them rushing up in here saying that you're not a citizen, we're going to gather all you up and put you on a bus and send you somewhere unknown, that sort of thing. But they have to have a process. But we're not.
I wouldn't participate in anything like that.
Yeah. Okay.
As of now, have you been approached by ICE to cooperate with them?
I have not been contacted by any federal agency to cooperate in any kind of immigration type of enforcement. I know I've heard the rumors, I see the fear, I see it, we monitor social media, we monitor all those things that anybody else can do, open sources on immigration sweeps that are happening across this country. Here in Racine, it's not happening.
Chief, I'd like to ask the same question to our Mayor Corey
It's
Mason.
the same answer. We've had no contact with federal agencies about immigration sweeps.
And the other question I'd like to also ask the Mayor, has there been any type of policy or even the federal, because the federal government is changing, right? So has there anything that's affected our city that makes you think that we might have to work with them in the future?
I mean, again, we're monitoring it closely, but there's nothing that's changed, any of the procedures that the chief has laid out here, and nor have we been contacted by anybody saying. I mean, we're certainly aware, and part of the reason we want to do events like tonight is to make sure people are informed and we can share information, but there's nothing that we've done or plan to do, nor have we been contacted or asked to make changes around immigration laws. There's certainly been a lot in the news about it, right? But here locally, we've not had any specific.
Thank you.
I just was gonna ask you a question, Chief.
Sure.
My question to you is, do you receive money for your budget from the state, from Madison? Do you receive money?
Sure.
And then I will ask my question to you.
We do get money, there's sharing of, revenue sharing that comes with us.
So you get
through
money
a
from
grant.
the state?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's an
And then my question to you, okay, I seen this on Racine County Wisconsin GOP wants to cut state aid to county with sheriffs who do not cooperate with sites. What happens if the GOP does that to the police department?
I spoke about that earlier. We're not sheriff, we're not the county sheriff, we're the local police. And there was, I saw that same article there, it had to do with the state, and I believe the governor had said that he was gonna veto it if anything like that comes across his desk. That's in that same article. Just like you see that article, we review a lot of news articles all over, we monitor social media, open sources like that. We get intel we get stuff from the federal government, we get all kinds of information that comes into the police department. And I can assure you that at this point, there has not been one ask from the local police department to cooperate with any type of ICE operation, nor do I know of any ICE operation in the city.
There's one more question here, she's been waiting for one.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Actually, somebody answered my question. Well, if somebody reported someone as being illegal to the police department, you would just say, we have nothing to do with this. Is that what?
Well, yeah, I'm gonna say, well, where's that information come from?
Good question. Yeah.
It's just like, where was that information come, how do they know if someone's illegal? How do you know if someone's not visiting?
But even if they know they're legal, you don't do anything.
No. They're doing anything criminal.
Yeah. One more. Got one more question here? Actually, two. Okay, two.
Because as you said that you're in charge of the safety of the community, it's always seemed to me that it is the interest of everybody for everyone to be encouraged to have a driver's license, including your undocumented community. It makes us all safer if anybody has to pass a test to drive. So I'm wondering if the police organization or the police union, if we can look forward to them also advocating for that, or if they have.
Good question, that's something you would have to ask them, as far as where the union goes, how they think about that, how they feel. Kind of to the side here, biggest complaint, the number one complaint I get in the city, and I'm sure you guys may agree, is speeding and reckless driving.
Yes.
Any other complaints? Speeding and
Noisy
reckless-
vehicles.
Noisy vehicles along there too. Whether you have a license or not, people drive crazy. And last time we were trying to come up with solutions on how to slow people down. 85% of people behave. We don't have to worry about that 85%. So it was at 15%, it was kind of rooting for everybody else. So we're gonna have longer lines, tighter lanes, things like bike lanes and jet outs from the sidewalks and curb lanes, things like that. But when it comes to support like that legislation, you got to start out with the sponsor, with the assembly level. And I know there are people here that do fight for that. I know that. Because I hear it, I talk about it. I'm a big advocate of it. I'm a big advocate of everyone getting a license, operator's license. First of all, because you get educated on it. You get there's an enforcement piece to it. You know, but if you're educated on the rules of the road,
We're all safe. We're all safe.
that's the theory behind it.
And I think, it's just something that I think everybody has to remember. We do not advocate for anybody to commit a crime. And even if I was driving without a license, I'm committing a crime. So I think if Mayor's still here, we'd like to beef up some transportation. Make it our transportation, such as the bus, and more ability for people to go to work, share ride, things like that. So if you do know people that are driving, and it doesn't matter undocumented or documented or born here, American citizens, we do not want to advocate to drive without a license. We do not want to advocate to speed or reckless driving. We want everybody to be safe on the road. So let's start to create some proactive thoughts, buses, co-workers, helping people get to work, ride share, all the different things that we can do. It works. We did this 8 years ago, not 4 years, but 8 years ago, and we have many people driving children to school. We have many people ride sharing. We just have to keep on moving forward until we can change the laws. But one more question, sorry.
Yeah, in regards to support for the getting driver's license for the undocumented, I know that the Kenosha Sheriff Department at one time did advocate for that, even wrote a letter in support of that stuff. I think it depends also on the different. I don't think the Racine Sheriff Department ever advocated for it. But my question is, you had mentioned the cop houses around Racine, and I'm just wondering, when I would read the Racine Journal Times or the papers and some of the people who were arrested or committed crimes, they were usually young adults or adolescents. Many of them were young, and I'm wondering if you know if the cop houses have a plan or work with the community in trying to inform the young people to, not to commit a crime, because that could potentially, cause or result in having to report or getting, especially if they come from a family of undocumented, that they're going to have to be, reported then if they do commit, especially if it's a felony. When I see the paper and I'm like, I see that, what they've done, I'm like, why did they do that? Of all, especially right now in these times when it's so dangerous, you would think that, that somebody would have told them, don't, never consider like driving recklessly or causing an accident or any kind of crime that would automatically put them on the radar. So are you aware of anything like that? The cop houses are going to work with the community or the people or the schools?
Another good question. We as a police department work with everyone. We work with our RUSC very closely. We work with our community connectors that help us kids to go on the straight and narrow path. We have a lot of community events, a lot of social events at all our COP houses for all kinds. With the after school reading, with how to get your license, how to parent. We do a lot of things like that in the community. We work with our Department of Community Safety that helps us in things like that. And believe it or not, we do work with even the kids that are coming out of our jail system to get them assimilated back in society. Hopefully they got their high school diploma. We do that with adults as well. So there's a lot of things that the police department gets involved in that I really don't speak much about, but we do a lot of things of education. We wear many hats. We get blamed for everything, which is fine. We get blamed for the snowfall that we didn't have plows on our spots. Trust me, it's every day, but that's what the police do. We wear many hats. We want to help. We're here to help everyone. And we do. We have, our officers go to the schools, we speak, to ask them about abiding the law. Or if you happen to get stopped by the police, this is what happens. Please cooperate this way. There's so many things that we do as a police department that covers that part of it. But there's a lot. We were hoping that parents that teach your children well. Your parents have a lot of big influence on you. And so do, if you belong to a church, they have a lot of influence on you as well too, and so do the schools and teachers and other mentors. And I know that not everyone has that, but we'll do everything we can to help an individual out if they come to us and walk in that straight and narrow path and be a contributing member to society. It's important that we raise our children well and our youth. That's our future. It's our future.
With that, I'd like to say thank you very much.
Yes, I know we really don't talk more than 5 minutes. I think I've gone now for 25, 30 minutes.
But that's great.
So, are you accessible to the community?
Very accessible to community. I'm willing to sit down and talk with anybody about anything. Anything about me, anything, something you don't like about me, you don't like about my hair, you don't like about my height. Talk about anything. I'm willing to talk to anybody. We can talk about this immigration. We can talk about policing in the city of Racine. We can talk about crime data. We can talk about where we need help on. How can we improve as a department? Talk about any complaints that come to the department. We'd be more than willing to talk to anybody.
So I do have a question.
Oh, yes, sir.
So, we're gonna talk a little bit about search warrants and the difference between search warrants and arrest or deportation warrants. And my question to you is, does the police department, city police department, act on federal arrest or deportation warrants?
The federal warrants that we deal with are with crime, that have to do with violent crime. We don't get across our desk anything that's a deportation warrant of that nature, just for simple deportation. That's a civil violation, not like a violent felony or a misdemeanor type of violation. A search warrant is signed by, it has to go through a process. You have to have probable cause. You get a search warrant for whatever the reason may be, whether it's for drugs or guns. You have to go through a process. You gotta write up a warrant. It's quite lengthy. It goes before a district attorney for review, making sure it's all legal, and then it's signed by a judge. The judge has to sign a warrant. Once we have that search warrant in hand, then we can go conduct a search. We don't do no-knock search warrants in this city. We do what they call knock and announce, but in order to get to that level, you have to have probable cause. It could be for anything. I mean, child pornography, drugs, illegal guns, prostitution. Could be there's so many just violent people that are wanted in other states for violent crimes. Burglary. There's so many crimes and laws out there. But the difference between a search warrant is that in a federal warrant, search warrants are usually from the circuit court, and a judge has to sign it. You have to have probable cause. We have to meet the standard of probable cause, which is a little bit more than just a hunch. You have to have some sort of evidence. You have to have some sort of witness. And we present it to the district attorney who reviews it, who supports it, and then a judge has to sign it.
And what's your policy on identifying a driver who may be undocumented?
Ask them
to give them a ticket.
Just their name, date of birth, address. That's it.
And you just give the ticket off of what they say.
Yeah, and then they'll come back, they'll run your name to see if you have any warrants. They do what they call an NCIC check. If you have a warrant, hey, you have a warrant, depending on what kind it is. If it's an unpaid ticket, say, hey, here's a court date, go to the court date, municipal court, go pay your ticket. But that's all you'll get. You're not gonna ask, where you're from, or anything like that. What's your document status? None of that. If that does happen, I wanna know, because that's against our rules and procedures. And I haven't yet to have one complaint. I just wanna say hi to Miss McLean over there. She's a very active person in the downtown community and the city of Racine. All right. Thank you.
Chief, if you'd like coffee, here's some water, because I know you've been talking.
I talk too much.
No, that's fine. You don't have to leave, but if you, we had told, we had explained to the chief and to Mayor Corey Mason that they could leave by 7, because we're going to be doing presentation, and they know all of this, and they're accessible, so, okay? So you can stay or leave, it's up to you.
And I know Grace, and they know how to get a hold of me.
Oh, yes, we do.
We met before and a few other occasions. So, all right.
If you'd like to take something on this one.
Oh, okay. I'll go meet my daughter.
So, before we start with the program, does everybody have a Know Your Rights card? And anybody who needs a family preparedness kit, please raise your hand. Joe's gonna get you a copy. We're gonna go over it a little bit. So.
We have them in Spanish too. If you need it in Spanish?
The Know Your Rights card.
Yeah. No, but we have it in Spanish. Yeah, we're gonna do visual aid, everybody, because it's really important that people know what's going on, so we're gonna have a visual aid.
Where I work, I want to know. Yeah. So,
We have doesn't reach, so I can't work from here. But just to give you guys an idea, LULAC, we just came up with this website and it's a draft, so, but it will be coming as LULAC-wisconsin.org. And the link, we're gonna share it with you, and you can reach this website as it is like this. So LULAC is the nation's largest Latino and oldest Latino organization. We're kind of like the NAACP. We advocate for civil rights, education, housing, immigrant rights. So we are all-encompassing. They have a great website, LULAC. In Wisconsin, we have 9 councils scattered throughout the state, which is in Racine, Kenosha, Beloit, Milwaukee, and soon Green Bay, Madison, and hopefully more. So LULAC, National LULAC created this resource toolkit called Escudo, and in Spanish it's shield. Yeah. So in this, I just want to give you an idea that you can get this resource kit on our website, or you could click it and then download the guide as a PDF. That's really nice. And in this shield, I'm going to see if I have it over here. They have, this is the table of contents, and they have sections on each of these. You know, your rights at home, in public spaces, in your car, at work, university. And they also talk about medical rights, your rights in detention centers, and it's a really nice guide as far as rights are concerned. Okay, so there are many Know Your Rights cards out there, and ours, I have to say, is the most comprehensive I've seen. because it covers many other areas, and it has a little section there to put your attorney and your counsel in. So we're gonna talk a little bit about this card. So this card is also available. This is our website. You can download it in English and Spanish, and download it as a document where you can cut. If you print both sides, you can cut it and have 6 different cards. If you just do one side, you can cut it horizontally and just fold it. So nice and convenient. First thing that we tell everybody when you have an encounter with an ICE agent is to start a video with your phone. It's a constitutional right. And by the way, it starts with know your constitutional rights. So never open a door if an ICE agent is knocking. You have that right. ICE cannot enter your home, car, or workplace without a search warrant. And we mentioned this earlier, it cannot be an arrest warrant or a deportation warrant. They have no right to come into your house. And it has to be signed by a judge with your exact name and exact address. If you're in a car, it has to have the car description. So they have no right to come into your private area, residence. If they do say that they have a search warrant, ask them to slide the search warrant under the door, if you're at home, place it on the car window, or in the window. If you're outside your home, or anywhere for that matter, ask the agent if you're free to leave. In other words, not detained. If they say yes, just leave calmly. Give this card to the agent if you are detained and not free to leave. If you're inside of your home, show the card through the window or slide it under the door. And everybody in the house should do the same thing. Never answer any questions from an ICE agent. If they try to talk to you, if detained, you have the right to only give your name or not, and remain silent. Never lie or give false information. There's many people who think that they want to make their case and give extra information, and they think it's going to help their case. Almost always, that's going to be used against you at a deportation hearing. So it's very important that we use our constitutional right of remaining silent. Never sign anything or show a foreign passport or ID without first speaking to a lawyer. You have the right. And on the other side is a statement that they can read. We have this in Spanish as well. The left side Spanish, the right side is still English. Report any raid to the Rapid Response Hotline, and the phone number is there. Save videos, pictures, and take notes. Always. As soon as there's an encounter, please take notes. If you can get names of the officers, badge numbers, everything is very useful. Okay, any questions on the card?
I just wondered, does LULAC have a stable of attorneys who can handle immigration cases, or how do you? I just wondered.
So LULAC has resources, and we do have some pro bono lawyers. But later I'm going to show you where there's a resources for no cost and low cost services, and where to find attorneys. Okay, but yeah, good question. Yes.
Some people are already working with an attorney and have been working for several years to
become a US citizen. And it's taken 8 years so far. The green card has not shown up. And I'm wondering how long someone has to wait. If you don't have the green card, you can't get permission to work and you can't get a driver's license. So the individual is rather stuck.
So the questions about green cards, and some people are waiting 8 years, and
And have a lawyer.
yeah, and they have lawyers, and unfortunately, we as a country have not invested enough in our court system to process, and our immigration system to process quicker. So that's a question to resources, and yeah, it's unfortunate. And our broken immigration system. That you know, we've always advocated for comprehensive immigration reform, and that's what we're going to keep doing. Any other questions? Yes.
Do you guys provide any help or resources to families who are either undocumented or mixed status in case, unfortunately, a parent is detained, deported? What happens to the house? What happens to the kids? You know, I don't know, bank accounts.
So that's a great segue. And this is our family preparedness kit to provide resources to our families so they could start the plan now in case of. And the first thing is obviously the card. And this is on our website as well. Okay. And this is in our website as well. And you can download, and there's copies of these forms out there if you need one. Know Your Rights card, print it, understand it. Everybody in the house should have one. And do role play scenarios, right? Do a scenario where someone's knocking on a door. Teach your kids not to open the door. Technically, they need to, even if the door is open, they need to ask for permission. But we've been hearing that if you open it 1 inch, they think that there's permission to walk in. So, role play. If detained by ICE, follow the directions on the card and look at the escudo, the shield that LULAC has developed. Really great resource. Stay calm. Request an attorney. Write down the name and phone number of officers, like we mentioned, and you will be assigned what's called an A number, alien registration number. Very important that you note that and share it with your family and your attorney, because if you get moved, we can locate you at this website. Any questions on that? More information on detention. We have some more information from the American Immigration Lawyers Organization. Really great organization. Determine if you qualify for immigration relief or legalization status. There's a couple links there, screening tools that you can click and go over if you qualify for other relief. And the third one is consult an attorney. Especially, I guess for everything, but especially if you have an outstanding case from the past or present. Legal help, this is the one that we were talking about earlier. These 2 links have resources for nonprofit organizations as well as, I believe, pro bono organizations. So, there's 2 resources there. And the last one is immigration attorneys. There's a little thing in there about planning for legal expenses, anticipate fees, have a savings, and
Hi,
chime in.
Yeah.
We have Stephanie here, and she could share with the information that the clinics that we have here going on in Racine, with Racine Interfaith Coalition. You wanna take a few minutes,
Yeah,
Stephanie?
yeah, we could go over other resources that we have before we get into, property and power of attorneys.
While we're on the subject.
Yes.
Thank you.
So many of you are aware that there are inadequate immigration legal resources nationwide, which is why the Department of Justice offers a program in which nonprofits can offer legal immigration services, and so that's what the Racine Interfaith Coalition is able to do. So my accreditation to practice law is not with the state of Wisconsin, but rather with the Department of Justice. We have a small legal clinic at the premises of the Racine Interfaith Coalition. We do client consults every first and third Saturday, every first and third Saturday from 10 until 1. And anyone who needs an appointment should just call the office. So we have sheets here on the table in the back if anybody knows of someone who needs this resource. They can just call and make an appointment. We now have 2 accredited representatives and a lawyer in our Racine office. We have an office also in Kenosha that has another 2 accredited representatives. They have a different schedule. They see clients on Tuesday and Friday, but again, all you have to do is call the office and we can get you set up with the right number to call. Los servicios se ofrecen en español y también en inglés, so if anybody needs legal services in Spanish, we can do that. We can also do about half a dozen languages from India, if anyone needs that. Does anyone have any questions? Yeah.
So I've been discussing this with quite a bit of people. You're entitled to a call if you're ever detained.
That's correct.
What happens if, when you do place that one call, it goes into voicemail or people do not pick up?
Where's our police chief? I've been the person who's been called, but I've never been the person doing the call. I mean, in immigration detention, you can make phone calls. Yeah, you can make phone calls out. You just have to have someone who will accept a collect call, and we certainly would. So that's
one of the most important things. When you go through the preparation, the family preparation kit, learning how to have your phones, your landlines, accept a collect call is crucial right now. I'm sure Racine Interfaith Coalition has gone through that already on how to accept how your telephone can accept the.
And we have a bilingual secretary who would certainly know what to do.
We have Voces de la Frontera and the other organizations. So I think what's really important is that we collaborate and we all teach each other how to do that. So the churches, whoever is going to take a collect phone call to take the call, because yes. And then once they get moved everywhere. They can be anywhere.
But you can make a phone call from immigration detention from anywhere in the country as long as the other person will accept the charges. So that will happen. I was just going to mention, I mean, we're not able to offer every legal immigration service out of our office. We are a small operation, and partially accredited representatives are not able to do some things. For example, we're not able to represent clients in an immigration court setting. We are empowered to do what's called affirmative law, not defensive immigration law. So mostly we work with the USCIS rather than the immigration court system. having said all of that, we accept anyone who wants to come in for any reason. And we will attempt to assist the client if sometimes that is only by referring to an immigration lawyer that we know and we trust. So that we feel is also something useful. But certainly for sitting down and doing a screening, like Jaime was talking about, we can do that with you. Setting up one of these family preparedness kits, we can do that with you. Almost anything related to immigration law, we can at least get started. And if we're not authorized to, engage in a particular process, we'll just tell you and we'll refer you to someone who can. But we are recommending that anyone living in a mixed status family try and make an appointment with one of us to sit down and look what avenues there might be. We don't charge anything for the initial consultation. For processes that you are eligible for, we charge a very nominal fee. Like for a work authorization, we'll charge you $40 and it costs us $30. So, thank you.
So the first thing we ask is for all families to create a binder. And in that binder, you put the birth certificates, marriage, medical, financial records, immigration records, everything. Very important. Then there's a difference between guardians, guardianships, caregivers, powers of attorneys. Very important, and Stephanie alluded to this a little bit. And Stephanie, you guys work with families to do the power of attorneys for parental rights and finance and property?
We have both in our packet.
Okay.
We have both the power of attorney for financial issues and a temporary guardianship power of attorney in our packet. So if someone needs to have that difficult conversation, we can walk you through. We have both forms in both languages.
And those forms are Wisconsin approved forms, and I've seen them. So we have it here where you can download it. Very important. And there are two separate ones, right? One is delegating parental rights, designating somebody in case you're detained or you're deported, that's somebody to make the important decisions to keep your family from being separated.
Yeah.
Very critical.
Very, very critical.
And the other one is property, finance and property. We have a little thing in there about if your children are under 18 years old, talk to them, let them know that if anything happens, we're detained, or if you're detained, assure them that someone's gonna come and who's gonna come and pick you up. And all the information is phone numbers and money. Passports, secure. This is another one that we can be proactive, is secure the passports of the children. If they're born in the United States, and also to look for dual citizenship. Many countries offer that. And if your child was born in another country, visit the local consulate and obtain that passport for them. Okay. Any questions on that? Okay, property. So we have a little bit in there about your home. If you plan to sell it, there's another power of attorney that you need to have, so they can sell it for you. You can also have a power of attorney to if you have rental property, you can have a power of attorney, somebody to hire a management company. And our realtor here can help with that. I'm sure she knows of some. Hello? She knows of some property management companies that can help with that. And another one is your bank account. You could also have create a joint account, which means that whoever's on the other person can deposit and withdraw funds without any problems. Cell phone bills, if you have a contract, there's a little section on that. Credit and debit card bills. If you do get deported, your liabilities don't go away. They can still come after your property. And so you want to take care of all of that. Mortgage, a little bit thinking on that. Insurance policy. Wages. If you are owed wages, you have the right to ask for it. And one way is to do a demand letter. And you can also file a complaint with the labor office, which is very serious. Believe me, employers will want to get that letter. There's a lot of fines, and they will pay. If you have this demand letter, they know that there's a lot of fines if they don't pay. Any questions? All right.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
For the parents that got kids, say, that goes to Racine Unified School, and if ICE comes into the school, are you doing anything for the parents? Are you giving them information what to do if ICE goes into the school to take their kids?
Let me see if I can.
That was part of the very beginning, and here in Racine Unified, they have a procedure, and ICE does not go into our schools. They have been talked to already, the principals, superintendent, everybody has followed the protocol.
So we have that section over here, more on detention, and it has home under 2D, home, public, and at work. So very similar to if they go to your house, they have to have a search warrant. If they go to your car, they have to have a search warrant. If they go to your work, they have to have a search warrant. They can access the public area, just like your porch or sidewalk. If your business has a public area, they have access to that, but they don't have access to go back and talk to whoever without a search warrant. So same thing with the schools. They can access the public area, but they cannot enter the school without a search warrant. And schools are aware of it, and many schools have talked with the parents and had many meetings on what their policy is, and that is the policy. They cannot enter the school without a search warrant. Any other questions?
So, it's 1:45.
Yep, it's 1:45, and I
Yeah.
appreciate everybody coming, and we have to wrap up. Yes.
Just one more last thing before we end,
Okay, one more last thing before we end is that through everything that we've talked about, and bottom line is we always have to make sure that we are participating in what most people say, adulting. One of the most important things is to vote. And we have a primary election, February 18th. Please look at the ballot. Go to vote.wi.gov to see who's on your ballot. Very important race is February 18th is our state superintendent. Very important race. Your question about schools, we're going to need a really strong person, so pay attention and vote.
Hi guys, it's me again, Tanya from Voces. So we had a Know Your Rights training in Kenosha this past Saturday, and it went super well. We had about 50 to 60 people there from the community. We had Nindik and Laisha speaking about going a little bit deeper on immigration, what that looks like, what the roles for ICE and what to do in that situation. But yes, Voces is also giving out packets similar to what LULAC has, and they are power of attorney for finance and property, as well as power of attorney delegating parental power. We will be hosting a Know Your Rights for Racine. If it's something that you guys want to see, definitely come to our Saturday meeting at 11. I left flyers over there. But as Voces, we also want to, due to capacity, there is a lot of necessity for Know Your Rights in so many areas. So we are also having a train the trainer on Know Your Rights, just so we have more capacity. And if it's something that you guys want to do as leaders, in whatever way that looks like. I also have a sign-up sheet right here. So if it's something you're interested in, the trainer on Know Your Rights, definitely let me know and sign up. And if you know anybody, definitely send them my way. Yes, thank you.
And I just wanted to invite anybody that you know, or that you may know, or have anyone that you want to refer to me as a realtor, and with the experience that I have, to help them out with the knowledge and understanding of what to do with their properties, if in case they do get deportation. Many of them freak out, they don't know what to do with their house. So there's very many different steps in the process that we can probably give them options of working along those groups, so that they don't have that much stress, and they should know that there's certain things that can be done, changed, titles changed, all that, deeds changed, the ways to doing that, and it doesn't cost, because there's title companies that may possibly do it for them for free. Okay, my cards are over here in case anybody knows of anyone that needs that help. I'll be more than happy to help them out.
Thank you everybody very much for coming.